back to Critical Flick. Today we're going to be talking about Disney's Wrinkle in Time.
So this movie, actually, believe it or not, as weird and strange and off the wall this movie is, the plot is actually really simple. All it basically is that this girl's father disappeared looking for the meaning of the universe, and they're just trying to find him. That's the extent of the plot of this film.
And there's just a bunch of little weird things thrown into it that you have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's like there's the visuals in this movie, they're not great. And that was probably the main focal point of this film. It's supposed to be a very visual film, a lot of different worlds and colors and crazy kaleidoscopic things going on, and they just didn't pull it off very well.
I honestly think Disney needs to step up their CG game. I feel like it's lacking. This movie is as full of CG. They supposedly filmed in beautiful New Zealand. You can't even tell because they just overlap it with so much CG it takes over the whole screen. Yeah,
that's the one thing I thought about when I was leaving the film is there's a quick montage in the movie where they kind of show these different planets or dimensions or whatever, and they show these quick little snippets of them, and I'm like, oh, some of those look kind of cool. But pretty much the characters in this film are in like fields, forests, a beach, so none of it's really that spectacular looking. And it's still really green screen for being these pretty much generic areas.
So you have Reese Witherspoon, Oprah, Mindy Kaling playing these like magnificent type characters. They're very ethereal, have a lot of like artistic stuff all over them. But I don't even know honestly what their purpose was. It was actually kind of disappointing because they're all pretty good actresses and I don't know what they were there to do.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, is the casting in this movie isn't terrible. Like, I mean, the actors and actresses in this film have shown that they can act pretty well. You have Reese Witherspoon, Oprah Winfrey, Mindy Kaling, Chris Pine. But them as the misses was just weird. Like, they felt just like it's an expeditionary thing. Like, they're just there to move the story along and kind of throw these characters into different situations. But they don't really do anything for the most part.
The main character is played by Storm Reid. Her name is Meg. She's pretty good. There's some instances where I feel like she's not showing enough emotion where I'd be like, what is going on? I don't understand.
Yeah.
She's just more like, all right, I'm going to go in. Okay, yeah, that looks good. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, but I felt like as the story went on, she showed a little bit more emotion. But in the beginning, I mean, I guess for a young actress, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it definitely wasn't the best thing in the world.
And I honestly felt like Chris Pine was in a different movie. His acting is like on another level compared to other people in the movie.
But I'm going to be honest with you, even though he was the best part of the movie, I think it hurt the movie because him compared to the other characters just felt weird. Like when he was on screen, he was very emotional. You could tell he's a real actor who was showing the ranges of a human being when these other characters are just kind of there and they're not great.
And let's speak about the little brother. The little boy, her brother, Charles Wallace. I mean, you could probably put a drinking game to how many times they say Charles Wallace.
Charles Wallace. I'm going to guess the low end of 35 times. And the weirdest thing about it is it's a weird name. Like, who calls this little kid? I'm sure it's what it is in the books. But this little kid is Charles Wallace. Charles, they don't say, hey, Charlie, hey, Charles. Charles Wallace. Every single time, every single person.
Every time. And it'd be like 3 times in a sentence. And I was like, does he not know his name?
Yeah, and the little boy, I know he's a little boy, and I'm sure, he hasn't had a lot of time to learn how to be an actor, and I get it. I don't want to be like, he's the worst thing in the world. But he was the worst thing in the world in this movie. He was so annoying, and his character was just, I don't know, I didn't like it. It was unpleasant.
He was literally, I feel like, just to move the plot along a little bit, because when you get started in this movie, it starts right away. You have no idea why these characters popping up. Honestly, you know that she's there trying to find her dad, and that's like the whole thing. But 4 years has passed, and you have Charles Wallace who's talking
like he's 50 when he's like 8. So that was annoying. But I just found that character unpleasant. I found his whole story, the way he changed, especially towards the end of the film, then he's really unlikable. I didn't like it.
So the one positive I do have for this movie, besides Chris Pine being, Chris Pine, I really like the makeup and the outfits the misses wore. I thought it was very, like I said, ethereal looking, and I could tell a lot of time and effort took to make those costumes and outfits, and I thought that was really cool, and it stood out in the film to me.
I just thought of something. There's one scene in this movie that we were laughing about how bad the CG was. This is off topic, but I need to bring it up. Reese Witherspoon's character, it's not a real spoiler. I mean, I don't think it is, honestly.
You see the preview.
So Reese Witherspoon's character goes and becomes this like flying lettuce thing, and it looks terrible. Like, it looks awful as a CG thing, and then they ride it, the characters, and it looks even worse. And I was laughing on how bad it looked.
Was lettuce flying.
She looked like a floppy lettuce leaf flying through the air, and it was there's not a lot to love about this movie.
So as you tell, we're really disappointed in this movie, and I honestly would probably give it a 3 out of 10. It's very low ranking for me, and I wanted to leave halfway through this movie, and I don't ever do that and want to, but I felt the need I had to because the story was just all over the place. There was a plot here, plot there, and at the end it was just like, I didn't care, and that's sad because, Chris Pine's Bay. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie either, and I think I was going to give it a 3. I'm going to drop it maybe a 2.5. I really did not like this movie. I wanted to like it. I went into it, I saw the casting, I saw the director, I saw kind of like the interesting way I thought it was going to go, and the interesting source material. It just didn't deliver. It didn't look good. The acting wasn't good. The story fell really flat. I just really did not like this movie.
Another thing I have to bring up, the camera angles in this movie.
It was shot weird, which I don't hate. I mean, it took chances.
There was a lot of close-ups on random moments that was just a little odd to me.
Yeah, the one thing is off topic again, but I will say the only thing that keeps me from giving it like a 2 or a 1 or whatever is that it did take some chances. It made an attempt to make a movie. It wasn't like the Emoji Movie. It wasn't a cash grab. I don't think this movie was made to make money, obviously. It just didn't hit the marks that I thought it was going to hit or it should have hit.
They should just really worked on that CG. But This is our review of A Wrinkle in Time. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Leave your comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe. We always appreciate your support. And bye.